Hi, it's me again, Miss Lisa, the sewing lady of Pinellas Park, Florida, United States of America. Today is that day. But as you've noticed, we have our favorite paperweight, fabric weight, whatever. But yes, he wanted to be in the show again. Yes, he did. Eventually, we will move him off. Leroy's in the room, but she doesn't want to be photographed. You know, she's got an Ingrid Bergman thing going. So, you might hear her, but you won't really see her unless she gets really bold. She's an old lady, I don't think so. Well, anyway, before we start the sewing portion, I mentioned about the neckline. Now, there's two ways of changing the neckline, but I'm going to show you the one way that I think is probably the best way, and it doesn't require anything but your ruler. Considering everything I have in this place, I have French curves and all that, you still can do it with just one straight ruler. We're going to show you how. Now, I'm using a clear one because the only other ones I have I can't see through, and I want to be able to see through. Now, Xavier, it's time for you to exit the show. And if you remember when I was having Annie pin everything on me, oh, by the way, Annie doesn't feel well. Looks like she's caught something. That's why we don't see her this week. We all think of her very fondly for the next few days because I'm sure it's going to be a few day event. Alright. Now, my dot wasn't put exactly center, but close enough to center for me to follow. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure, and yes, centimeters. This is the one time you ladies who only do centimeters, this one really works for you. Okay, when I go to where my dot is and where my ruler is, I get exactly, whoops, 8, no, 9.5 centimeters. Yeah, I forget this particular ruler has a blank end. Nobody should have them. Kind of throws the whole deal. Alright, just going to use my pen this time, not going to use anything else, but I'm going to make a mark right there. And that's the base. Now, because I want this to come down from where the edge of the shoulder is and then to there, I'm just going to make a V shape. Now, it doesn't mean I'm making a V-shaped neckline. It just means I'm putting that in to give me a guideline. And you'll get it once you see what I do. And my fabric folded over a little bit. So we'll move it up a little. And we do the same thing for the other side. This just helps you, give you a little guide. It's not, you have to do it that way. Because nobody has to do anything they don't want to. At least in my house. Seems to be the way. Okay. Now for me, the bottom of the line here where the V's intersect, I'm going to make my rounded collar come out, about 3 centimeters. So you do 3 centimeters on this side, and then you go all the way to the 6 on this side. That gives you 3 centimeters on that side. Now, this is where make another line. See, this is what's nice about doing it on here. If you make a mistake, nobody's going to care. If you did this on your dress, you might care. So we go back up, make V's, right back to where we had the sections the first time, for the first lineup. I have fabric and a ruler that don't like me. Alright, so you can see there's a little bit of a shape here. So this is where we use that wonderful thing of trying to figure out to do it the right way. I will show you something. Yes, I keep cookies in the sewing room just for me. Sometimes, yeah, even me, I believe in using a rounded surface to make a round. And when you do that, it's probably your only guarantee that you're going to get it the right way. So, and, yep, because mine was kind of messy. And when I do that, I end up with a much rounder bottom to mine. Now that's a very narrow neckline, and most people are going to say, yeah, maybe not. So, what I do, I bring this back, and I go up just a little more, and a little more on this side, and that looks a little better. Okay, so when I do this one, I'm going to bring that back up, oddly enough, to that same point we left it off at with the other two lines. And then guess what? We have a fairly decent neckline at this point. Not too wide, you know, we don't want everything hanging out. Okay, so this is when you get really brave, if you want to. You can get away without cutting yours, but I know I will cut mine now. So, what I end up doing is I cut from the corner, and I just follow the lines that I made. And I'm trying to do it without unpinning, which probably isn't one of my better moments, but you know. Alright. Oh, and if you notice, I got gorgeous scissors. Believe it or not, I did not pay a whole lot of money. I went to a thing that's called an auction. For those who don't know what an auction is, you have to bid on something, and then you hope that nobody outbids you, or you can afford the bid you gave. Fortunately for me, I was not outbid. So, for a whopping $7 US, that's not bad, that's cheap, because these things are like $40 now. But these are the older ones, and it came sharp. Love it. Okay. Now, granted, my cutting does not look that great. But there I have it. A decent looking one. I'll probably end up doing a little bit on the back, but not until we got some of these seams done. Now the first seam that we're going to want to actually put in is going to be these guys, because all the weight of the garment is on the shoulder seams, nowhere else. So if you remember, when Annie and I were doing this, we put a pin in here because we needed the angle. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to mark on the inside of that, just kind of a hedging my bets kind of thing, where yeah, maybe I got it right, maybe I didn't. It happens. I'm not perfect. Never said I was. So what we do is we check against the other one, and it V's in to about there. So do it again. Now I'm just putting this line out there as a possible line. Just in case you wonder, every 10 minutes we take a little break because the camera says, hey, 10 minutes. I want to stop a minute. So, magic of TV again. See where we have this? Alright, I'm taking the pins out that we're going across. And I am just going to pin it, kinda, sorta, nothing major. This is the one time where, yeah, you're not going to have an exact seam, you know, not 5/8 or whatever centimeters. You're not going to have that. You're going to have, we start out small and we move up. That way, we have a good chance of getting the right size. So, next is going to be a fun moment. David might want a second for this. I don't know, because we are going to the sewing machine. And by the way, before he switches off, we turn our light on so you can see the girl. She's my new baby. We haven't named her yet. I know, I'm getting behind. But we have this really nice one. It's post-World War II. It's when we had Japanese influx of sewing machines, and it is so cute, and I love the color blue. So yeah, really nice find. Okay, David's gonna take a second. We'll be back. And now sewing time is here. Now see that line I made because my shoulders droop? Yeah. So what we do, now here's something for you newer sewers. First of all, see all that string in the back? You always want to have a lot back there, because when the sewing machine does anything, it tends to pull that first round of thread, and you don't want it. For those of you just starting with sewing, if you can line your needle up with the line you made, you can just put it down, and that starts you right at the edge of the material. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go forward a few, and then I'm going to go back a few, and then I'm going to kind of try to keep a straight line here. You know, it doesn't, sewing machine, major alert. We blew the thread. You know how often that happens? Way too much. And yes, this is a nice sewing table. I can stuff things in it like this. You remember me telling you all about the nippers? Well, that is the most wonderful tool created for cutting thread. Alright. Always put the thread between the toes and under the foot. Okay. All I'm going to do is back up a couple, and then I'm going to go forward. Okay, now I did it in orange so you guys could see my work. Plus it helps me see my work too. And what I'm doing, and what you should always do, whenever you finish a seam, cut all the threads. You would not believe how many of them that you didn't cut the first time around end up in that, oh no, look what's showing, threads. You don't want that. So here, I'm going to do another one. And hopefully the machine's going to work with us. It's her debut, so she could be a little bit snarky, you know. But look at her. Listen to that sound of power. Yes, mine has a nifty little cutter built into the back. Wonderful thing. I was surprised to find it on this model. I thought it would be later on. Okay, now we've got both shoulder seams. And me see, where are we? Alright. Now, I'm going to try this on right now over my dress. No big deal. But you might want to see what I'm doing with it, David. And look who joined us. Yes, this is Leroy. She's the queen. She's so beautiful. Sometimes she wants to be part of it and sometimes she doesn't. It's okay. I don't mind. You know, because she's my love bug. Yeah, she's Mama's favorite girl. Alright, I am going to try this on, pins and all. So if you hear a couple of gasps, well, you know, that's what happens. Alright, I'm putting it down over my head because I want to see where these shoulder seams end up. Now, sometimes they end up in the wrong place. Okay, look at that. Neckline came out pretty good, don't you think? Alright, now with mine I have to center it off. Now the thing is I don't know, I think I did a good job. They're kind of sitting where they're supposed to. I know, droopy shoulders, why do I show them off? Really, I don't. It just makes it so my dress isn't doing the old, you know, off the edge. I don't always want to be that kind of woman. So, it fits. This is a big plus. Alright, so now I'm going to take it off and we're going to do side seams. So, let's listen. Does Miss Lisa get poked? No! She's done this so many times in her life, she's good at it. Alright. Now my side seams, I admit, I cut them very wonky. I mean, believe it or not, all these years of sewing, I still don't cut things real straight. Alright. Now when Annie and I were doing the pinning, we made some adjustments. And this time, I'm just going to pin it out just a little bit to where her and I did it. Because it's not like a big, big thing. But all these pins that we had pointing down, I'm just turning mine to the side because that's how I pin. Some people pin it so it's going straight up like this. And then when they go to sew, they can pull it out this way. Yeah, it's all what you want to do. I know. You'd think I'd be more professional about this stuff, but sometimes. Now this is one of those areas where, I know, Annie and I probably could have pinned out a little better on this, but don't worry, it'll look okay. And just so you know, when you're sewing this, after you do the shoulder seams, make them that stitch as big as it will go. Because if you have to make changes, seam ripping the big stitches is way easier. And you don't get as disgusted with yourself. You know, because you're going to think, well, I could have done this, I could have done that, and you know, the truth is coulda, woulda, shoulda. So, you just do what you gotta do. And then you go all the way down. Now, you might notice on mine, oh, Mr. Hambone's back. Look at him. I'm being the handsome boy. That's only because Leroy got in the picture, you know. Yeah. I'm going to point it out now so nobody else will say, hey, did you see the big mistake? Well, when I was cutting these out originally, I wasn't really paying too much attention to where I cut. I was just trying to get it trimmed off and off the table. Yes, mine's longer than the other. But you know what? We haven't shored up the hems. When we shore up the hems, all that'll come off, and we'll also have figured out how I could cut such a scallopy looking bottom. Right now, we're in the middle of a rainstorm. Yeah, this time of year, big stuff. They're constant. Alright, while we're hanging out with this, we're going to pin this other side. And let me find where it went. Oh, there it is. Alright, this side we didn't go in too far. But we're just going to straighten it out a little bit because we just did what I call a rough pin. It's not seam ready. It's just, this is the way we wanted it to go kind of thing. See, that's where the part went in. And that means this part should have gone in a little bit more. I wasn't paying attention because I was talking to you. That's the problem when you sew with a bunch of people sometimes, you know. So, word of warning, we get together, we chat, we talk about everything. But I think that's part of sewing. You know, talk, have coffee, tea, whoever wants, you know. Me, good cup of coffee. Yeah. It's a good sewing day. Mine starts out at 4 in the morning. And guess what? 2 cups of coffee. 12 ounces. I don't play around. If you're going to drink coffee, drink it. I'm not a decaf person either. I know. Why not? Because I need all the energy I can get. I don't go to bed till 8 o'clock at night. That's a long day. Maybe not to some of you, but to me it is. You usually get up early. And it's mostly because of, see the furry cat? He walked away. Oh no, he went over on the other side. Mr. Xavier has a thing of waking me up every morning. Very lovingly, he pats my cheek, and then he hits my forehead, and then the next time around, if Dad hasn't woken me up already, he's got a little fingernail he pokes out, and he hits me just like that, and just like that. If that doesn't wake you up, nothing will. See? Yeah, now he knows he's being talked about. That's why he shows up. He thinks the camera is all about him. You know what? Sometimes it is. Alright, now, I've wasted all that time, I know. I'm going to make my initial stitching. Now granted, it could be way wrong. That's why we make a muslin, because then we can take it and make the changes we want. Now here we go again with the sewing machine. Let's hope it joins us, because, you know, I was having a moment earlier, but it could just have been me. And she's having a moment. Her reverse is not engaging. So, we're going to take a break and figure out what's wrong. And I'm back again. And there she is. I know, doing that beginning stitch right now, well, you kind of want to. Okay, if you notice, I'm not taking my pins out, but something I learned a long while ago is if you're very careful when you get to the pins, and especially I noticed with these longer stitches too, we can blow right through. Whoa! Bust your buttons. I hope we didn't do anything bad. Yep. Something simple. It's got to a bit of a scratchy throat, I noticed, but you know, she is an old lady. She's older than me. She's got a couple issues we're going to work out, but for what we're doing right now, she's fine. Alright, we're going to do the other seam. My girl here, she's an old baby, so you know we are running into a couple little issues with her. Nothing I can't fix. You know, it's just there's a piece over here that needs to be tightened up, and I think she needs her tension rechecked because it was fine this morning, but now it's a little not. But she's workable. All right, point. My friends who have sewing machines like me are probably going, I can't believe she sewed that with the pins in. Don't worry, I won't break the sewing machine. So I will say, for their sake, it's probably better if you take the pins out before you get to them. That being said, okay? Now, for you ladies who decided, I don't want a skirt that comes out like this, I want it to come out like this, you have to do some measuring that's a little different than what we did, because ours is just going to swing out and have a lot of room. You want it nice and close. What you start off with is pinning it right along the line where we've had the first body line, the body measurements. Pin it there. Then add maybe 1-2 inches, pin it there. Try it on, make sure it'll fit. Big deal. If it doesn't fit, you're just going to have to keep letting it out a little bit until it's comfortable. But in order to do it, you're going to take that measurement. It started at the middle of the shoulder, came down, the first one was to the waist, then I believe the next one went all the way down to the hem. So what you're going to do is you're going to go from the waist down 9 inches to the hips. And remember that sit down measurement of the hips? That's the one you want to work with. You're going to have to divide it evenly between the two pieces so you get enough width. Make sure you're allowing enough. Too little is a lot more work than too much. So, at this point, we're not going to do our back seam yet. Why? Because we want to make sure what the front seam did. But we're going to leave our back seam pinned. Okay? I'm just going to leave it the way it was when Annie pinned it. Because what we're doing at this point is you're going to be trying your dress on and you're going to see, does it look okay? Is my armholes hanging too far out? Is my neckline kind of crazy? Yeah, just something you got to work out a little bit. I didn't go much into this with the neckline because I'm hoping most of you know how to do a V-neck, which would have just been the initial marks that I showed you when I was showing you how to make mine. It was going straight from the very front center to the very edge of the seam here. If you go further in, it's a narrower one, and just remember, the more you cut off from the inside, the further it goes out the arm. I don't know about you, but when it hits over here, that's too far. Some of you might like that. I'm not as big a fan of it, but this is yours. Do what you wish with that part. The armhole is going to be a big issue for you because there's nothing worse than a bad fitting armhole. Now you're going to notice, hey, the front piece is bigger across than the back piece. Well, of course it is. You got more up front than you have in the back. So, at least until we get to the hips, then I think it's about even Steven. But at the top, you're going to want that extra room. We may have to consider darting. Try not to, not for your first dress, but for some of you, it may be something we have to do. We might even need it for me, I don't know. This is a new size for me to remember. I used to be a 26 US size. Now I'm a 20 and heading more towards that 18. Yes, it's coming off in inches. Have no idea where it's going. It's just there, or not there, I should say. So, I'm going to put mine on, and we're going to see what mistakes I made. And I can bet there's bound to be a few of them, because nobody's perfect at this. I don't care how good a dressmaker people are. I think they all have moments where something is not quite right. Now, we got mine over mine. Now, a reminder, I'm wearing my dress under it, so we can kind of give me a little bit on that. Alright. Now, my armhole on this side's pretty good. My armhole on this side's pretty good. I forgot to take a pin out. That wasn't good of me, was it? And I think I forgot a whole bunch of pins down one side. So, here we go. Take a minute. Yeah, I know. Should have been doing it while we were talking. Got sidetracked. If you haven't noticed, kitties took a walk. They were getting bored because they didn't get as much attention. Okay, that's all those extra pins. Alright, you know what? I think I did pretty good. It came in where I wanted it to. I might actually take it in just a little bit more on here. Because I just wanted a little closer in here. You know, after you've lost a bit of weight, you want to show it off a little more. So for me, I'm probably going to take it in. Well, since I'm measuring from that part of my thumb to the top, we will find the ruler we had earlier. And, yeah, nothing like a clear one when you're trying to see in the light. Okay. I'm going to be taking mine in a whole, looks more like 3.5 centimeters. Now I'm going to do that on both sides. So always remember, if you do it on one side, you do it on the other. But I'm thinking 3.5 centimeters. It's probably going to take it in about where I feel comfortable in it. So this is where you have to measure and decide what's comfortable for you. So here I go, presto changeo, take it back off. Yeah, there's a lot of this on again, off again stuff. You get to a point where you feel like you're the magic show. And eventually, you don't have to do it. That's what this is all about. Because after this, we'll get into making our real dress using our pattern. Okay, so already decided. I'm going to go in 3 centimeters. Now, I am just going to pin off my first one here because one of the nice things about a sewing machine is it tends to mark off stuff, and which makes it so much easier for me. Wow, 3 centimeters, 3.5 I said, right? Wow. No, that doesn't seem right. Am I looking at the right edge? Yeah, I'm looking at the right edge. Oh, yeah, 27. Huh. We'll go to the 27 on here because I put it up backwards. Yeah, it's only a 30 centimeter. Go figure. All right. Now, when I go to stitch this, I'm going to do that only for a short distance. Why? Because I don't need it all the way down. If I look at it from this point of view, I'm thinking about to my waist, okay? You can measure it off if you want, but I think if you figured out where your waist is by now, you now know about that much. And you see, it does kind of bell out a little bit, and what I'll end up doing is I'll take it all the way down to my waist. I'm going to pin it, and I'm going to be tapering it off at my waist. And horrible as it may seem, because I'm getting tired, we're going to end today's. But we will pick up where we left off. Be ready, because I'm going to be ready. And we're going to try and get this part done next week. Alright, the 3 important things that you have to remember, which I'm going to tell you every time you see this video until it comes home to you. You're going to like. You got to hit the like. Then you got to subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. Then you're going to hit the notification bell. That way you'll know when this shows up. And you can say, aha, she's got it. Beyond me telling you 20 million times. But yes, you're going to have that. And as always, this was given freely to me. I give it freely to the world. Thank you.